Ryan Bannister outpitched Steven Strasburg in his last start with 6 scoreless innings at Washington. Tonight he goes up against the White Sox, and the Royals took Game 1 last night with another double-digit hit performance. Game 2 is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Gavin Floyd has one of the best arms in the American League Central Division, but that hasn't helped him much against the Royals. And after getting pushed around twice this year, he will take the mound tonight at Kauffman Stadium on T-Shirt Tuesday. It's Game 2 between the Royals and the Chicago White Sox. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Paul Splittorff. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and for some reason, certain pitchers just can't figure out certain teams. And Gavin Floyd has had that problem with the Royals. And the White Sox, as a team, have had a lot of problems with Billy Butler and Mike Aviles.
Well, if you take a look at what happened last night, Ryan, I'm not sure anybody's got an answer the way Billy swung it last night. His first time up would be a good look at that. I mean, that ball's way out of the zone, but he hits a line drive, picks up an RBI. The Royals got on the board early. His next time up, he got a better pitch to handle. The result was the same, another line drive and another RBI. He also lined out his last time up, so it's another good night for Billy at the plate. 3 really good at bats. Mike Aviles, he had a lot to handle here last night. He didn't miss any of them. Hit the ball all over the ballpark. He's back in the lineup again tonight.
And if they can continue this pace, you're talking about 2 of the best years for a Royal against the White Sox, with Mike Aviles at .480 and Billy Butler at .444. If the White Sox continue to play like they are and win the division, Paul Konerko could be the MVP, but he's done nothing against the Royals this year.
And that's a big surprise because he's pounded them in the past. But if you're going to hold down a bat, you want it to be his. He's tied for the league in home runs. He's 4th in the league in RBIs. But as you mentioned, nothing against the Royals so far.
Anthony LaRue got his first Major League win last night. Got some help from the bullpen with 3 more scoreless innings. They have dominated over the past 2 weeks and have been dialed in against the White Sox this year. And we'll talk more about that right after this. or visit kia.com. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. 3 more scoreless innings for the Royals bullpen last night. So over their last 16 games, the Royals bullpen, which was a weakness in the first month of the season, has a 1.48 ERA. Now that's against all opponents, and that's nothing compared to what they've done against the White Sox.
Well, maybe this is an indication of what was going to happen this year. Remember the problems early on in the year? The starters did okay. The bullpen did absolutely nothing. But now, all of a sudden, the starters, hey, guys, find a way to keep these late inning guys in the ballgame, and we'll be okay. How about opponent's batting average of 165 against the relievers and only half a dozen walks?
It all begins with the starting pitcher. Tonight it's Brian Bannister. Here's the Kia report.
Well, repeat last week's performance. I'm not saying no runs and 6 innings. I'm saying the mechanics. To me, he was on everything. Breaking ball, fastball, everything was down. Be a ground ball guy, that's what you want to be. Plus, you got to keep the White Sox out of the air. They're a big-time home run team. And let's develop a night game. It's well documented what he does in the afternoon. No reason he can't do it under the lights.
Here's the White Sox batting order presented by M&I Bank. Alexei Ramirez will move up to the number 2 spot. Mark Kotze is the designated hitter tonight. And Diane Viciedo will be at third base as the White Sox continue to fill in with Mark Teahen on the disabled list. Last night, Jose Guillen lost his 21-game hitting streak. Maybe he'll start a new one tonight against Gavin Floyd. He had 3 RBIs against Floyd the last time they faced him. That was here at Kauffman Stadium and against Brian Bannister. The first pitch is next. High for ball 1. Brian coming off that great start against the Nationals Wednesday, and Steven Strasburg with 6 scoreless innings. Royals won that game 1-0, and it was their first shutout of the year. Juan Pierre was 1 for 4 last night. That was as the DH. He is back in left field tonight. And he's down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is a team that Banny's had some trouble with. This year he is 1-1 against Chicago. But his ERA against the Sox this year is 10. In his career, a 7.91 ERA in 14 starts.
When he beat them in mid-May, that was win number 1 of what became a 5-game winning streak for him, the longest of his career. So pitch well against him here. Averages about 5 2/3 innings per outing. He'd like to build on that a little bit.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Pierre. 81 perfect degrees. Game started at 7:09. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot at KCA. Into left field and a base hit in front of Posednik. Leadoff man on, and let's go out to right field and visit with Joel Goldberg.
Well, Ryan had a chance to talk with Ozzie Guillen today, his thoughts on the Royals, and he's always been complimentary of Kansas City, but he says, you know what, they lead the league in hits for a good reason, and then when you look at their pitching, mix and match, get the ball to Soria, he said they're a good team. He said the thing about it is that if Billy Butler were playing, say, in New York or Boston or Chicago, everybody would know about him. He said that's the problem with the league. You only hear about the national teams, the big-time teams, but he said when you look at a Billy Butler, he is the real deal. When you look at a Jose Guillen, no one around the country was hearing about the 21-game hitting streak, but he said there is very good baseball here in Kansas City. He certainly is paying attention, guys.
Well, the Royals are 4-3 against the White Sox so far this year. It was an even split between the two teams last year, and that's big news around here because the White Sox had won 9 consecutive season series against the Royals.
White Sox really did not have a banner year a year ago. 4 games under 500, finished 3rd in our division, so they didn't blow many people away.
Inside ball 1 on Alexei Ramirez. He was 0 for 4 last night, and that was as the White Sox number 8 hitter. And with Omar Vizquel not in the lineup tonight, Ramirez moves up to number 2. Juan Pierre, the league leader in stolen bases. And Brian Bannister with a quick move over there. And the ball got away from Billy Butler. Otherwise, Pierre might be out.
I think he has found his maximum lead against Banny. As a base runner and a base stealer, that's what you want. You want to find out how far can I get out there and still get back on his best move.
Billy, and you can see the little window of sunshine behind him. He is looking at Banny and also has the sun in his eyes. Into center field. David DeJesus is still in the sunlight, and he retires Ramirez 1 away. Speaking of David DeJesus, here are the Royals defensively, and David has that 224-game errorless streak. Jose Guillen will play in right field tonight. Jason Kendall back of the plate for Brian Bannister. So he's got the bill of the cap down, and now for a moment the sun is out of his eyes. So for this inning, it'll be difficult, but when he comes back on the field in the second inning, that sun should be gone.
And Ryan, that's a setup right there where Billy has to let Banny know the sun is in his eyes. It is a factor. So if you're going to come over that way, got to make sure you keep the ball down, somewhere around the knees, somewhere near the bag. That'll make it a little bit better. See how low that throw is right there? I mean, you need to do that if the sun is up where you see the shadow of Billy. But the guy on the mound won't notice that. He's going to have to be the first baseman that'll tell him.
Alex Rios 1 for 4 last night, batting at .312. Pierre is running, and look at that throw. Wasn't even close. So Kendall guns down Pierre, and that's the 8th time Pierre has been thrown out this season.
Kendall had an ideal ball to handle. See it away from the right-handed hitter. He's already down in position to make a good, accurate throw. That ball is on the money. Pierre with a little try to trick slide around the head first slide allows you to do that. See if you can slip the tag and try and get the back corner of the bag.
So that turns the inning around. 2 outs, nobody on, and now 3 balls and no strikes on Alex Rios.
that ball that Kendall had to handle right there was a semi-pitch out. And on a pitch out, you intentionally throw it maybe a little bit farther off the plate where they cannot hit it, but it had the effects of a pitch out right there.
Where was that last pitch?
There's been a couple of them in there pretty close tonight.
Whatever happened to, remember it used to be a belt-high fastball was not a good pitch? I mean, that's just above the belt. I mean, if he hits that ball, don't you say, oh, Bandy didn't get the ball down.
Yeah, made a mistake on that one.
So a 4-pitch walk, and now Paul Konerko, and he had an awful time last night. And that pitch is a strike. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Paul Konerko striking out against Anthony LaRue twice, then Victor Marte.
One time he got on base was an infield error, so he goes all night without getting the ball out of the infield. And they got it in play once.
And the news doesn't get any better for Konerko against Brian Bannister tonight, which is 5 hits and 30 at-bats, and Bandy has struck him out 9 times. Curveball got away from him. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Royals got to the outside corner effectively last night against Konerko, and looks like Bannister wants to start out there again tonight.
Well, how much fun is he having tonight?
Probably not as much fun as he had last night, although he was a little more worried last night. Yeah, that's about the best feeling going right there. The day after.
And that's a strike. So apparently just for a moment Tim Timmons lost the strike zone, because that pitch appeared to be higher to Konerko than the pitch was to Rios. I just remember the old saying, Split, boy, he got all over a belt high fastball
for ball 4.
Nowadays that's the way it is.
It's one of the reasons that it's a little tougher on pitchers these days. If it's going to be tough across the top of the zone, hopefully it widens out if you get near the knees, both sides of the plate, at least one side, so you got a little room to operate.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, it's been my rant for years that if a pitcher puts a pitch in a certain part of the strike zone that is regarded as a mistake, a pitch that a hitter can jump all over and hit for extra bases, a double, a home run, well, then it should be a strike. The hitter doesn't get it both ways. If he hits it, it's a home run. If he takes it, it's a ball. I'm kind of fired up tonight. It's just the top of the 1st inning.
But you're preaching to the choir.
Okay.
I mean, I'm already on your side.
Rios runs, and Konerko strikes out. So after all that, nothing.
didn't look like they had it covered in the first inning. Home plate umpire looked like he had a little problem with it. We'll see how it plays out here on the bottom of the first.
Royals batting order presented by M&I Bank, and another double-digit hit night for the Royals last night with 12 hits, and 3 runs was enough to win it. A strike to Scott Pasednik. 1 for 4 last night. He was caught stealing for the 8th time this year. And that's on the corner. No balls, 2 strikes from big Gavin Floyd. 6'6", 235 pounds.
How about the left side of the infield right there? You think they're going to pitch him away, play him away? Look how far they are off the line at third.
Yeah, but what if he shoots one up the line?
Many bases.
Didn't get that call with the curve, and it's 2-2. Pasednik back up to 292 after getting off to a rough start this month. Trying to go the other way. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, that's interesting. I would think of Pasednik as a guy that would go to the opposite field, but he's had more hits to right field than left field. And he shoots that one to Ramirez on 1 hop. 1 down. Let's learn more about Gavin Floyd. Here's the Kia report.
He really doesn't want to change anything. I mean, despite his record, he has been lights out his last half a dozen times out. You see just 3 earned runs his last 4 outings. Principal offense, he hadn't any this year. 2nd lowest in the American League. Dallas Braden has the lowest run support. They pick up the lefties. They lost on Sunday with Danks. Lost last night with Burley. Throw a right-hander out there, see if he can get it done.
I've never heard that angle before, that the righties need to pick up the lefties.
They have 3 righties in their rotation, a couple lefties. Now, they don't normally go back-to-back. They have an off day on Thursday, and they're probably going to break them up the next time around, kind of space them out a little bit. But Danks got beat by the Cubbies on Sunday on their series. And, of course, Mark Burley lost here last night. Kevin Seitzer is around the batting cage today and telling everybody this is not the same Gavin Floyd you saw early in the year. He's had just 1 tough outing in his last 7 times out.
And when you say a different Gavin Floyd, the Gavin Floyd that the Royals have seen before tonight is 0-2 against the Royals, and his ERA is over 8. In his career against the Royals, he is 1-7 with an earned run average of 5.5. So this has not been a good matchup for him at all.
He's really looking to turn his year around. Had a 6.5 ERA in April, 5.5 in May. It's a 2.5 ERA so far here in the month of June.
He's going to get another ground ball to short, and 2 down in the bottom of the 1st inning. Here's the defense behind Gavin Floyd, and a defense that has really improved this year. That's something Ozzie Guillen wanted to see this season, and he's gotten it, as the White Sox have committed the 3rd fewest errors in the American League. And with a manager like Ozzie Guillen, he stayed in the big leagues for a long time, not because of his bat, but because of his glove.
Everybody talks about the White Sox turnaround thing. It's all based on their starting pitching. Well, yeah, it is, but the defense has really come along well with it.
David lines it over Ramirez and out into left center field. David on base twice last night with a single, a walk, and he scored a run.
That's about as pretty as he gets right there. Fastball, outer half of the plate, about mid-thigh high. Just stay with it. Hit it low and hard. Barely get it over the shortstop head. The guy knows he covers the plate well. When you hit it over the shortstop's head if you're a lefty, over the second baseman's head if you're a right-handed hitter. In fact, Billy's one of those guys, he'll lock in on that second baseman. I want to try to hit the ball right at him. If I do it that, I know I've covered the plate well, like I want to.
One strike on Billy, 2 hits, 2 runs driven in, and he did that in the first 2 innings. Royals won 3-1 last night and did all of their scoring in the first 2. White Sox only run was a home run from Carlos Quentin in the 4th inning. To the opposite field, and Quentin using his bare hand to shade his eyes. And that's it for the Royals in the bottom of the first. 1 hit, 1 left. Jason Kendall showing off his arm to throw out Juan Pierre, and Brian Bannister striking out Paul Konerko to put an end to a scoreless top of the first inning. Royals scoreless in the bottom half, and now Chicago is going to send up Carlos Quentin, Mark Kotsay, and A.J. Pierzynski. Curveball for a strike on Quentin, who had a perfect night last night. Hit a solo home run in the 4th inning. Had a couple of walks and was hit by a pitch for the 11th time this year, and that leads the league. Bannister jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
Quentin's really done a nice job of driving in runs recently, and a part of that is Konerko's ability to get on base. He lost his 10-game hitting streak last night, but picking up a dozen RBIs over the last week.
Jose Guillen moves into the shade, and Quentin is out number 1. Jeffrey Flanagan explains how David DeJesus keeps a cool head amidst all the trade talk that comes around this time of year. Visit Fox Sports Kansas City for this article and much more.
Flanagan's back in the ballpark tonight working on another one.
Yeah, some we don't discuss very often, and you know, these guys make a lot of money, they get a lot of attention, but they have families, they have lives that they need to live, and errands and bills to pay and families to take care of, and we just say, well, if he gets traded, he just packs up all of his stuff and moves on to the next city. Well, that's a huge adjustment, not just as far as logistics go, but emotionally trying to concentrate on playing the game, yet at the same time wondering what uniform you're going to wear tomorrow. Left center field, slicing, and Pasednik dives, comes up short, and Kotsay will go into second base with a 1-out double.
Think back to the catch that Pasednik made here on Sunday afternoon against Holiday, going the other way towards the line. This time comes up a little bit short. It may not have helped the Royals there. There's not a whole lot of it, but I think they pushed that ball away from him a little bit. It was softly hit, so it didn't bound away too far.
So runner at second, one out for A.J. Pierzynski. Bannister throws strike one. Pierzynski was 1 out of 3 last night, but maybe his most important plate appearance was in the 9th when he was hit by a pitch, and that loaded the bases for the White Sox with 1 out. But Joakim Soria got 2 pop-ups to second base, and that was the end of that. Now Pierzynski hits it into left field, and here comes KCA around third. Posednik's throw is just a little late. Pierzynski will hold at first, and Chicago takes a 1-0 lead. So 2 soft 1-out hits and a run home.
They stayed away from Pierzynski a lot here last night. They stay away again right there. That ball up just a little bit. He loops it into left field. KCA is just coming around third base right there at the bag as Posednik picked that ball up, and that's kind of your key. If you can get the ball about the time the guy gets to the bag, you might have a shot at getting him at home plate.
So Mark KCA is safe at home, safe and secure. New York life. '21st RBI for Pierzynski. He was already a .414 hitter against Brian Bannister in 29 at-bats. And now 2 balls and no strikes on Diane Viciedo from Cuba. Defected in 2008, first to Mexico, then to Miami. Shoots that into center field. So with 1 out, 3 straight hits. And 2 on for Gordon Beckham. Check the location on that pitch. Fox Tracks is brought to you by Chevy.
Right, and I think he went down and got one. It's over the plate, but down pretty good. In fact, even out of the strike zone. White Sox love his power. I think he'll eventually move over to the other side of Diamond at first base. But just still trying to fill in at third with Martin on the disabled list. Mark out with a broken finger. He hurt it Memorial Day weekend. Not going to be back till the middle of July. Maybe even late July. He's not doing any field activities yet. Still has the pin in his finger. But he is on the trip.
Inside to Gordon Beckham. Now, the White Sox do a remarkable job keeping their players healthy. And this late into the season, we're coming up on the midway point. The Royals are playing their 78th game. The White Sox their 76th. And the Chicago White Sox have only had 2 players on the disabled list and no pitchers. Their backup catcher Ramon Castro spent some time on the DL, and now Martin is on the DL.
Herman Schneider is one of the most respected trainers in all the sports, not just baseball. And he has been on the South Side forever.
In fact, to add to that split, Brian Bannister grew up a White Sox fan because his father Floyd played there when Brian was growing up and was interested in baseball. And Herm Schneider was the trainer back then. Ozzie Guillen was on the field as a shortstop. Greg Walker, the hitting coach, was on that White Sox team as a player.
Harold Baines is on that team now. He's out with knee replacement surgery, not with their ball club. He's normally their first base guy, but yeah, another guy. They bring his number out of retirement so he can wear number 3 again.
Pierzynski at second. Viciedo at first. And Beckham takes down and away. Close pitch. And it's 3-2.
This is the guy you really want to get here, so got to have something over the plate. Banny's real close to it right there.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes on Beckham, who was 0 for 3 last night and is now less than a 140 hitter in his career against the Royals.
Ryan, this guy is now kind of a tough walk. Struggling with the bat all year long. Does walk once in a while, but just 1 free pass in his last 33 games. So usually able to expand the zone against him.
Lined into center field. Pierzynski will round third and score. Viciedo will go to third. And Beckham holds with a single. And Chicago has a 2-0 lead.
Good idea to work him inside. That swing has gotten a little bit long this year, and that's what hurt him as far as getting the average up. But they tried to come in here with Taylor Natson on the fastball. He did a nice job of getting the bat head through that zone. Solid base hit up, working the middle part of the field. So the White Sox add another, and they're on top 2-0.
Inning began with a routine fly ball to right field from Carlos Quinton. KCA has doubled, Pierzynski has singled, Viciedo has singled, and now Beckham has singled. Montpierre, who singled to open the game, pulls it foul, and it's 0-1. That's his Omer Munoz, who is filling in at first base coach with Harold Baines away with the knee injury. After the single, Pierre, going for his 30th stolen base of the year, was gunned down by Jason Kendall at second base, and it wasn't even close. One ball, one strike.
Rose could use a double play ball right here and say, well, it's the toughest guy to double up, and he has grounded into 5 double plays so far.
White Sox could try to counter that by sending Beckham and take away the double play. Beckham with 4 stolen bases. He has been caught twice. Not running. And Pierre takes outside, 2-1. Montpierre reunited with Ozzie Guillen in Chicago. They were together in Florida back in 2003 when Pierre was in center field for the world champion Marlins. Ozzie Guillen was the third base coach. That is a fair ball, and Billy Butler's only play is to step on the bag. Billy not happy with himself. He's going to walk around for a while to cool himself down. Maybe he thought he could have done more with that ground ball, but by the time he realized he needed to get an out, the only play was to step on the bag.
He'll lose his footing right here as he gets into foul ground. He gets onto the grass, and I'm glad he didn't try anything. I don't know what else there was to do with that ball. Now, he doesn't mind throwing the ball around the infield. He's a former third baseman, former outfielder, so he does have a good throwing arm, but trying to make a play from that point on the field with the people that he had on base probably would have been a bad mistake.
Ball 1 to Alexi Ramirez. Out on a fly ball to center field in the first inning. He has Beckham at second base and 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two years ago, Alexi Ramirez was second in the American League Rookie of the Year voting, second only to Evan Longoria. 3 years ago, Brian Bannister was third, trailing only Delman Young and the winner Dustin Pedroia.
And anytime an older player comes to the States to play in our major leagues for the first time, there's always that question, should he be considered a rookie? It happened when Ichiro came from Japan. We heard it again a couple of years ago when Ramirez came in from Cuba.
What do you think?
It's a different kind of deal, but we don't recognize them as being an equal. Until you start playing and matching up in the postseason, I think when they come over here, they're a rookie, but they're not a true rookie. They're not 22, 23 years old. They're usually in their upper 20s, if not a little higher.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
How about you?
Kind of on the fence. I mean, I think it's in great respect to this level of baseball that they're considered a rookie. But when a guy comes over, well, not in the case of Ramirez from the communist country of Cuba, but when Ichiro Suzuki comes over from Japan with all those batting titles and several $1 million in his bank account and all that attention, he is far,
from a rookie who's never gone through something like this before. Callaspo throws out Ramirez to end the inning. The White Sox come up with 3 in the second. Gavin Floyd has a 3-0 lead at the bottom of the second inning. He'll get Jose Guillen, Alberto Callaspo, and Mike Aviles. Jose 0 for 3 with a walk last night, so he lost his 21-game hitting streak. Ramirez has been busy. That's the third runner he's thrown out, one away in the second inning. Tonight's league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And now we can start talking about consecutive games reaching base by way of a hit, a walk, a hit batter. And Guillen with his walk stretches his streak to 26 in front of a couple of Texas Rangers. And boy, they're playing well now. Vladimir Guerrero and Josh Hamilton.
Vlad Guerrero is returning to Southern California for the first time as a Texas Ranger. So a little bit of a homecoming for him this week.
There's about 9 Alexi Ramirez out there tonight. No matter where the Royals hit it, he is there. 2 up, 2 down. Tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. What to do with interleague games? A, keep it the same. B, add more games. C, keep it but fewer games. Or D, discontinue it. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals. A space and then A, B, C, or D. Great question.
Yeah, I like that one.
Mike Aviles, coming off a 3-hit game last night, takes a curveball for a strike, and it's 0-2. So I'll ask you at 2 outs and 2 strikes, what do you think?
Eliminate B from the beginning. Don't add more games.
Okay, so we'll do process of elimination, huh? Grounded to second. And with a 3-run lead, Gavin Floyd faces 3 and gets 3 ground balls. AT, rethink possible. And by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. White Sox with a 3-0 lead have Alex Rios leading off the third inning. He walked on 4 pitches back in the first. Sox getting RBIs from Pierzynski, Beckham, and Pierre in the second. After Rios, it's Paul Konerko and then Carlos Quentin. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Interesting setup for Rios, opening with his hands would appear to be below the belt. But it's not where you start out. About the time the ball is delivered, it's back up about where everybody else is. Not as high as some, but certainly not down as low as he starts out.
It really is amazing when you look at all the good hitters in the game. The setup is going to be a lot different, but those hands through the zone, it's almost identical. Shallow right and near the line, and that's a long run for Guillen, and it's going to drop in front of him and Mike Aviles. Hope you'll come to the ballpark tomorrow. It's the final game of the homestand, a 7-10 game with the White Sox. And the first 20,000 fans receive a 1985 World Series Game 5 DVD. You can get your tickets right now online at Royals.com or over the phone at 1-800-6-ROYALS. Two and two on Alex Rios. Betancourt charges in, throws on the run, and Rios is out number 1.
When in doubt how to work a guy, always down. Always think down and away is always a good place to attack. And when Bannister is on, most nights that little cut fastball of his will probably be his best opportunity for outs. There's a little cutter. Kendall set up on that outside part of the plate, and he just drilled it right there.
So 1 away to Paul Konerko, who struck out in the first inning. So Konerko is 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. And now against the Royals this year, he is 1 out of 27.
You see the 20 home runs that Konerko has hit already this year. Over the last 4 years with Chicago, his average is 29 a year. So looks like a clear shot to get at least that here in 2010.
And there are some statistics that can be hollow if you look at them closer. 20 home runs, but are they meaningful home runs? Well, for Konerko and the White Sox, they certainly are. 9 of the 20 have either tied the game or given the White Sox the lead. And 10 of the 20 have come in the 8th inning or later.
I remember Joel doing an interview with him last year after he beat the Royals with a home run. They'd really been having a hard time with the plate. He wasn't hitting anything. Came up with a big game winner late in the inning, late in the ball game. Interview him afterwards. I don't know how many I'm going to hit this year, but I hope they're all as big as that. Well, he went on to hit 28, but was off to a very slow start a year ago. Then he might be starting to put some things together. 3 ground ball outs now, the last 3 outs recorded. So he's doing a better job of zeroing in on the zone and keeping the ball down.
That's his second walk as Konerko goes down to first with 1 away.
Yeah, Frank had the question earlier this year about the most unusual batting style. Kevin Youkilis was on it. I remember Ichiro was on it. And I think Youkilis won, but you and I had talked about that before. I mean, he's got that high approach over the top of the top hand about a third of the way up the bat. But as that ball is delivered, his hands are back in a high position, but just about like everybody else. I don't think, other than his original setup, his style is unusual at all.
I remember asking him about that a couple of years ago. And when you have a batting stance like that, obviously you're trying to force something or remind yourself to do something. And I said, what are you trying to do? Or what is that stance a result of? Nothing. Okay.
I just want to go by some of the Little League parks and some of the Legion parks in that part of the country and see how many other kids are trying to do that. I bet there are a few. Yeah, we thought maybe it was too dominant the top hand. He kept it so loose and kept it off the bat, but no, not really.
Just hold the bat this way. Quentin flied to right in the second inning, but then the next 4 reached. And the White Sox went on to score 3 runs. Great pitch over the inside. And Quentin not sure. Has a few words for Tim Timmons. And then hits the road.
When you see a guy crowd the plate like he does, your first thought is, uh-oh, I don't want to come in there. He wants that ball inside, but you're really forced to come in there because if you go away all the time, that's where the fat part of the bat is. So he wants the ball inside, but you still have to get in there from time to time.
So Konerko at first with 2 down. And Mark Kotsay is out in front of a changeup. He had a bloop double into left center field in the second inning. And that was the first of 4 White Sox to reach. And he scored on Pierzynski's base hit. Pierzynski scored on Beckham's base hit. And Viciedo coming home on Juan Pierre's ground out. Fouled it off the inside of his foot, maybe his ankle. And it's 0-2.
Really, this year when they're talking about possibly dismantling this White Sox team, I'm sure he was thinking, oh no, not again. Last year he split time between Boston and Chicago. The year before that he split time between Atlanta and Boston.
Konerko takes off. And it's popped up into shallow left center field, and this is going to be trouble. It will drop, and there is nobody at second base. So Konerko goes to third easily, and Kotsay is at second base, not because it was a double, it's because there was no one to throw to.
Defensive breakdown right here. You have 2 middle infielders leaving the infield going to try to run this thing down. Well, somebody has to be at second. Either has to be Bannister coming off the mound, and I always tried to do that, or Billy anticipate, hey, you don't have a play at first base. I'd rather see Billy stay at first and have the pitcher Bannister go cover the middle of the field. Bannister started to come home to back up home plate. There better not be a play there. Those guys in the outfield better handle it better than that. But somebody needs to be at second base. Keep that runner on at first.
So 2 runners in scoring position. Ball 1 on Pierzynski, who had a bloop single to left in the second, driving in a run, and then he eventually scored. Konerko at third, Kotsay at second. 2 balls and no strikes. A couple of Iron Men standing around home plate. Actually, 1 standing, 1 in a crouch. A.J. Pierzynski and Jason Kendall are the only catchers in the major leagues who have caught at least 1,000 innings in the last 8 years.
Every year. AJ not very well received when he was out in San Francisco. He kind of bailed things out when he came back to the Midwest. He started out with the Minnesota Twins, did well there. About the time Joe Mauer was coming along, he became expendable, so they sent him out west. Did not work well for him in the Bay Area.
Also didn't work out very well for the Giants because they gave up Joe Nathan, Francisco Liriano, and Boof Bonser for A.J. Pierzynski, and they only got 1 year out of Pierzynski, and then he ended up with the White Sox.
And that was an unsettled year at best. He did not mix in well with their staff at all.
He is a very difficult hitter to walk. Talked about how tough it is to strike him out, but he also doesn't walk very often. He only has 7. And I remember when he was with the Twins back in 2002, even his mom caught on to him not walking enough. and she offered him $5 for every walk he had that year, trying to get him to take ball 4 more often. Fouls off another pitch. Still 3-2. After the base hit in the second inning, Pierzynski is 13 out of 30 against Brian Bannister, and he has 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down. And he's spraying foul balls everywhere.
Brian, I'm reminded of the saying that the Latin players had. So many of them were aggressive and swinging the bat, and the word was, hey, you don't walk off the island, you get off the island by swinging the bat. I don't think AJ grew up on an island, did he?
Indiana. Struck him out, and that's difficult to do. Pierzynski lost the bat, and the White Sox strand 2 in the third. Sons who are both afflicted with muscular dystrophy for more than 25 years. Jim and his wife are never able to have a full night's sleep as they constantly tend to the hygiene and medical needs of their boys. Yet they have also raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for MDA. And Buck would be proud to have them sitting in his seat tonight. Three to nothing Chicago. All 3 runs coming in the second inning. 1 base runner for the Royals in the first 2 against Gavin Floyd. And Wilson Betemit, who once played for the White Sox, hits a sharp 1-hopper to Konerko, and he is back to the bag for the first out. And Gavin Floyd is getting his outs on the ground. He has recorded 7 outs, and 6 have been on the ground.
He's really doing what he has done for the White Sox for the last month or so, just not giving up anything. 1 run or less, 4 consecutive games, and has no wins to show for that effort.
Last inning, we were talking about a deal that didn't work out very well for the San Francisco Giants with A.J. Pierzynski going over there. How about a deal that didn't work out very well for the Philadelphia Phillies? A seeing eye ground ball gets past Konerko, but Floyd is to the bag, and Betancourt is out.
Really a difficult play right here. Ball not all that sharply hit, so plenty of room for Beckham to move to his left. Now remember, he was a shortstop in college, so he has pretty good range, but to hit the pitcher on the fly like that, got to be perfect timing for both the infielder and the pitcher. Awful close play. I'd like to see it again. Yeah, believe they got it right.
Good call.
Umpire in perfect position to make that call.
A strike on Scott Posednik. That is Dan Bellino at first base. A minor league call-up with Alfonso Marquez. Remember, he came out of the game early last night because of heat exhaustion. So he is out for the series. Dan Bellino takes over.
Last night was the nicest night we've had in Kansas City for a while.
Posednik grounded out to short in the first inning. I was talking about the trade with the Phillies and the White Sox. Gavin Floyd was a first-round pick of the Phillies in 01. He was their top prospect. But they sent him to Chicago for Freddie Garcia in 06. And here's Floyd still in Chicago. Now Freddie Garcia is back in Chicago, and he did nothing for the Phillies. He was injured. Royals down in order again. They've had one base runner in 3 innings against Floyd. It's Brian Bannister. Ball one down and in. Viciedo singled sharply into center field on a good pitch that was down and out of the strike zone. But line to center, came around to score in the White Sox 3-run second inning. It'll be Viciendo, Gordon Beckham, and then Juan Pierre. Now, Viciedo at third base tonight. It was Omar Vizquel last night, as the White Sox are without Mark Teahen, who's on the disabled list with a broken finger on his throwing hand, fielding a ground ball, and he had surgery to place a pin in the finger to promote and expedite the healing. 3 balls and 1 strike. Full count. Mentioned when he batted in the second inning that he defected from Cuba in 2005, first to Mexico, then to Miami, where he had some family, but then established residency in the Dominican Republic. Therefore, he is not subject to the amateur draft. Did he go? Tim Timmons says yes. Brian Bannister has his 4th strikeout.
And doing a good job of changing speeds here. I think this is a power change. It looks like he'd seen it for number 24. That used to be Jermaine Guy on the south side. Jermaine's still not signed with anybody.
That? I mean, I know he had a bad second half, but the track record, he had a very good first half, and he is still at home in Arizona, not playing baseball.
If he was a bad clubhouse guy, you can maybe see it, but anything but that.
Beckham singled with his 20th RBI in the second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And doing the best he can, try to move the ball around, misses inside. Well, let's come back with a little cutter, try to get it down the way. So far tonight, that's been his best opportunity.
You know, if he could throw that pitch every time, a cutter that started over towards the middle of the plate, hitting the outside corner, and now here comes Ozzie again, who just threw his lineup card all over the place. And I believe he was just ejected by home plate umpire Tim Timmons. Now remember, after the top of the first inning, Tim Timmons walked over to the Royals dugout and had a conversation with Ned Yost. And we don't know what it was about, but we thought perhaps, as Tim Timmons was not calling some pitches that looked like strikes and appeared to be in the Fox Tracks grid, Ozzie's going to get his money's worth.
Well, Ozzie will generally say whatever it is on his mind. If they're complaining about the strike zone right now, kind of surprised he's doing it in a ball game like this, because his guy is absolutely carving it up. Gavin Floyd is having a super night, and if you got a game going like that, I think you want to just kind of keep it going long without disturbing anything. That must have been going on for a while.
So Timmons went over to the Royals dugout and had a civil conversation with Ned Yost. And we thought, we don't know for sure, that maybe he was explaining that it was difficult picking up the ball on the sunlit backdrop. Second hit for Gordon Beckham. And he's going to try for 2 on David DeJesus. And he's in there with a 1-out double. But not so civil in his discussion with Ozzie Guillen.
Red Sox might be hoping that this is the night that Beckham breaks out. Spent the early part of the year, second spot in their lineup, looking for a big year out of him after being Rookie of the Year in 2009. 2 for 2 tonight with an RBI. He came in hitting about $150 over the last 3 weeks, so maybe it is time to turn it around.
Ball 1 to Juan Pierre. Singled in the first, grounded out in the second, but that ground out produced a run. Hold to Butler. That'll move Beckham over to third. Pierre is out, number 2. Tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison, Gavin Floyd has gotten up to 96. Brian Bannister at 93. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable.
Then he had that great outing in Washington his last time out, but had a problem the previous 2 times to the mound. A lot of that he attributed to a loss of velocity. He was trying to muscle up, kind of lost his mechanics. Actually, in my mind, he was kind of flailing with his mechanics, but put it together his last time out. Got to be pretty happy with his velocity here tonight. And consistently 91 to 93.
He has gotten Alexi Ramirez on a fly out to center and a ground out to third. Two and 0. Banny is coming up on 90 pitches here in the 4th inning. He has not had an inning with less than 18 pitches yet. 18, 29, 27, and number 15 in this inning drives in another run. So Beckham comes down from third, and the White Sox have a 4-0 lead. Well, the All-Star game is 2 weeks from today. from Anaheim at 7 p.m. only on Fox. And Fox will bring you every thrilling moment live beginning at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, July the 13th. Now Bob McClure out to have a visit with Banny, Jason Kendall, Billy Butler, and Alberto Callaspo. Back to You Call It, presented by Sprint. And what to do with interleague games? Pretty even. Keep it the same, 36%. 30% want to add more games. And then 18% keep it, but fewer games. And D, discontinue it. Split has already eliminated B. You want to scratch another one off the list?
No, that's fine. Let's just start there. See what the people think about it. Attendance is up, what, about 18% in the interleague play over what it is in the regular year. So attendance-wise, it seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, but Split, these are your people. They want to know what you think. Rios flies to center. The inning is over, but the White Sox tack on another run. For one of three finalists in People Magazine's All-Stars Among Us, choosing the person in our community who gives his or her time and resources to help others. Today the winner has been announced, and it's Marcia Merrick from Mission, Kansas. She has been selected as the Royals winner and will be honored at the All-Star Game on July the 13th, seen on Fox. So congratulations to Marcia, who is also in attendance tonight.
Royals would love to get the offense going here in inning number 4. The second time through the lineup against Gavin Floyd. Don't want Chicago to slip away from you here tonight. It's off to a good start, retiring 9 out of the first 10. Let's make it 10 out of 11.
Quinton brings it down. Jason Kendall is 0 for 2. Well, Kevin Seitzer told you this is not the same Gavin Floyd that they saw earlier this year. However, I can remember quite a few Gavin Floyd starts that began like this. And you think, boy, this is going to be a long game for the Royals. And then all of a sudden, the Royals put up 4 runs in one inning, 1 in another, and he's out of there. So he has had games where he's been cruising along and then all of a sudden hit a wall.
He has some weapons going for him right now. I asked Kevin about that, and he said commanding a sinking fastball in the four-seamer. He's always done that. But a couple different speeds on the curveball. We've seen that here tonight. And also playing with the slider. A couple different speeds on that. He's a guy really pretty steady. First time through, second and third.
Now that's pretty rare, isn't it? Most guys' batting average goes up second, third time through, right?
Or a guy who maybe starts off kind of shaky but gets stronger as he goes. So, yeah, it could work either way, but it's not often you see a guy as steady as that. He's been unbelievable his last 7 starts, and I'd read about that how well he was doing. He never got any wins. Nothing ever happened. Well, then you see the run support of about 2.8 runs per ball game every time he goes out there. That's not enough if you're going in the American League.
3-1 on David DeJesus, who has the distinction of being the only base runner tonight, with a 2-out single in the first inning. And now Gavin Floyd has retired the last 8. Up the left field line, Juan Pierre is there. 2 down. Tomorrow is a special 80s retro edition of Ink College Night. 7-10 game with Chicago. And not only will all high school and college students get select tickets for just $7, but it's 80s retro night. So wear your best 80s gear, if there is such a thing, because there's going to be costume contests and trivia contests and a chance to win great prizes.
What stands out to you about the 80s?
Well, for the gals, they had the leg warmers.
Uh-huh.
And the big baggy sweatshirts, kind of the flash dance look. And Steve Kurtenbach reminds me of the big hair. I think the hairspray companies did pretty well in the 1980s. The ozone layer didn't do very well, but the hairspray companies did.
I thought that was the 60s that they had the hairspray.
Billy Butler into center field with 2 down, so that snaps the string. Floyd had retired 9 in a row, and Billy is 1 for 2. Yeah, some bad gear in the 80s. Bad gear. Feathered hair. Ooh. Man.
You're talking about my kids now.
Well, I was one of them, too. Well, not one of your kids, but I was in the same era. That would be a bomb to drop on you in the bottom of the 4th inning of a Royals game, wouldn't it?
What do you say, Pop? No, I've met your dad. We're a little different. Dad almost played against your dad. We're about the same vintage.
What was year number 1 for you?
He was about 2 or 3 years ahead of me.
Okay.
70, the end of 70 for me. He was rookie of the year in what?
65.
Oh, okay.
And then was done here by 72 or 73. So there could have been a playoff game there.
Yeah.
Two balls and 1 strike. Jose Guillen grounded out to short in the 2nd inning. So in 3 2/3 innings, Gavin Floyd with a 4-0 lead has given up a pair of singles, and that's it. He hasn't walked anyone. He hasn't struck anyone out. So using his defense, and we talked about the improved White Sox defense back in the 1st inning. 3-1. Hit hard to center field, but Rios is there. And the inning is over. At the end of 4, White Sox lead 4-0. Royals offense. Just a hit here and a hit there, and piling up 4 runs, 8 hits. And now our Chevy call to the bullpen brings in KCA KCA, so he comes on in the 5th. And Ned Yost is going to need a lot from his bullpen tonight.
7 of those 23 outings have been as a Royal. Solid in relief for KC. 1 win, no losses, and a 1.64 ERA. So he's done a whole lot more for this ball club than he did with Seattle.
Ball 1 on Paul Konerko, who has struck out and walked tonight. Not to put words into Brian Bannister's mouth, but looking at his outs tonight, 4 out of 12 on the ground, and that's a percentage he'd like to see a lot higher as Konerko reaches with a leadoff base hit to right field. And one of the pitchers, if you remember an interview with Joel, as Brian not only monitors his game, but he has identified a few other pitchers that are similar, and he monitors their games as well. And Gavin Floyd, who's pitching for the White Sox tonight, is one of those pitchers. And Gavin Floyd, on the other hand, has recorded 12 outs, and 7 of his 12 have been on the ground. Ball 1 to Carlos Quinton. Vanny given up 8 hits, and I can think of at least 3, if not 4, that were bloop hits and some ground balls that found holes. But 4 runs, 8 hits in 4 innings, and Ned Yost says that's enough.
Well, he didn't have an easy inning all night long. I mean, the first inning base hit to open things up, then a walk, and inning number 2, the 3 runs on 4 hits, a walk and a base hit. I mean, when you go through 4 innings, if you don't have something going by then, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to get anything going the rest of the night.
He also threw 90 pitches in those 4 innings. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Quinton, and Banny pitched him well, got him on a fly out to right, and struck him out in the 3rd inning.
Teixeira, sinker baller, pulls the string right there and gets a hitter out in front. Good action down and out of the zone. Also has an effective breaking ball. The Royals scouted him a lot in camp this year when he was trying to make that Seattle ball club as a Rule 5 guy from New York. Pitched well in Arizona. The Royals took note, and when things did not work out earlier this year out in Seattle, he was made available. And the Royals have very little risk here. If it doesn't work out, just go ahead and send him back.
Two and two. Teixeira is from Maui, Hawaii, and he is one of 3 major leaguers from that island. The other 2 are Kurt Suzuki, the catcher for the A's, and then his cousin, Shane Victorino, who's an outfielder with the Phillies. I asked Teixeira on the last road trip to describe baseball in Hawaii, and he said growing. Football is the #1 sport, and I think over here in the mainland we think of surfing, but that's just more of a hobby. But baseball is really growing in Hawaii. It certainly helps that more Hawaiians are in the big leagues, and he is so in tune with the sport in his home state that he pointed out that there were 10 Hawaiians that were taken in the last draft, and that's a big number.
That's a huge number. Been to Maui handful of times. I haven't seen a baseball field yet.
Were you looking for a baseball field?
Probably not.
Yeah.
And you said the most popular sport, so that's golf.
That's into left field. Well hit. Posednik cuts it off, so Konerko will stop at second base. And the White Sox greet Teixeira with back-to-back singles in the 5th.
Royals have gotten better starts recently. Started to do pretty well over the weekend against St. Louis. Of course, Zach's ball game, their Bannister's ball game, that final one in Washington. Solid performance here last night with Anthony Russo. Not many early outings or exits by starters, so the bullpen is well rested. It's important for Teixeira to pick up some innings here tonight.
And now Mark Kotze, and he had 2 bloop doubles against Brian Bannister. The second double came when 4 Royals went chasing a pop-up into shallow center field, and nobody covered second base. Might get a double play. Out at second, 4-6-3. So 2 down with Konerko moving up to third base.
Brian, when I got to the ballpark this afternoon, they were out working with Mike Aviles on that very play right there. Eddie Rodriguez, the infield coach, balls about that distance away from the bag, in a little bit closer as he got away that little backhand flip, and didn't take long for him to have a very similar play here tonight to what they worked on this afternoon.
Carlos Quentin taking a Hal McRae-like route into second base to try and break up the double play. I mean, he was on the same dirt that Betancourt was. I don't know if he was going to get to second base.
It's one of those twin killings. The runner on first, you have no opportunity, nor does the batter runner.
I mean, now the hand is supposed to be able to touch the bag, right? Pulled to Billy Butler. He'll go to the bag. Pierzynski throws his bat, and the White Sox waste 2 on, nobody out. But then they ended up scoring 4 runs on 8 hits in those 4 innings. And Gavin Floyd has held the Royals to 2 hits through 4. And now in the bottom of the 5th inning, it's Alberto Callaspo, Mike Aviles, and Wilson Betemit. Callaspo out on a sharp ground ball to shortstop in the 2nd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Callaspo not only hitting for a solid average this year, but 18 doubles, a couple triples, 7 home runs, extra base hits. But boy, he's had a hard time here in the month of June. Just a couple extra base hits all month long. So his damage as far as power numbers came in April and May.
3 balls, 1 strike. And he gets that one past Viciedo and up the left field line, but Pierre was playing the line. So Callaspo is held to a single. Mike Avila's coming up, and we open the broadcast tonight talking about how well he has hit against the White Sox this year. .480 coming into the game. So tonight's AT&T trivia question: who is the Royals' all-time single-season wins leader versus the White Sox? We always begin in the house. Bob McClure pitched for the Royals.
He'd be a good call. Maybe somebody from that side.
Brian Bannister's father, Floyd, pitched for the Royals, if we stay in the house. Jeff Montgomery pitched for the Royals.
He's in the house.
Process of elimination. You pitched for the Royals, didn't you?
In the house. Not this house, it was the previous house.
Well, I think I can speak somewhat on your behalf that you were probably pretty fired up to pitch against the White Sox. Did you consider yourself a South Sider?
No, I was a North Side guy,
North Side.
but I didn't like the Cubs.
Okay, that's right.
I couldn't beat these guys when I first came up. I opened with a 5-game losing streak against them.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so a North Sider, but I do remember that you were not a Cubs fan.
No.
Okay. Well, help us out. Can you think of a year in particular where you pitched very well against the White Sox?
Would have probably been when you made 3 trips into town, played them, 20 times? So you figure probably maybe in that era. Now we're back to the unbalanced schedule again. The club hasn't won much, so it's going to be tough for any of the modern guys to be picking them off that often.
Avilas lost his bat. We've seen that happen to a few hitters tonight. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So I would say it was probably somebody back in the 70s, maybe to the mid 80s.
Well,
somewhere in there, huh?
There you go.
What do you think?
I'm going with you.
Really?
Yeah. How about 6? 5-0. Look at that. 1.13.
Dealing.
Was that the year that you experienced with the spitball? Avilas is the first strikeout victim of Gavin Floyd, so he has done so much tonight on the mound, but he has not been striking the Royals out. So 1 away with Cayaspo at first.
That was that breaking ball that pulls the string on. That wasn't a curveball. That was the slider, which is normally very hard, very late breaking, but pulled the string on it. Got Avilas to chase one out of the zone.
You remember that year? 5-0, 1.13 against the White Sox?
Yeah, did pretty well. That was I started out 0-5, and then I think over a period of time, several years, I think I went 9-0.
Past Pierzynski, and Cayaspo will move up to second base.
And you guys like to have some fun at my expense? That was in the Dick Allen days.
So that's an even bigger accomplishment, right? Was he hurt that year, or did he get traded? Or
No, he was there.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Joel about that. He's pretty good at dialing that stuff up.
Yeah, look, Joel's usually listening. So, Joel, why don't you look that up? How did Dick Allen do against Split that year that he went 5-0 with a 1.13 against the White Sox?
Dick Allen probably had 1 point of that 1.13.
Now, the ballpark has changed quite a bit with the renovation, but in reference to what we have now, where did that home run land?
The Hall of Fame would be in jeopardy. And not the lower level of windows.
Are we talking up around the video board of the Hall of Fame up there?
Well, you see that little square box? That's where they do the
right center field, and that's going to skip past Quinton. So the Royals are on the board, and it's Wilson Betemit again, another extra base hit. He has 11 hits for the Royals, and 7 have been extra base hits.
Right, and that's why he's in the ballgame tonight. Ned Yost talked about it before the game on why he's in there and said, well, here's an opportunity to get his bat in the lineup. He can supply some punch to this lineup that they have been sorely missing, especially where he's been swinging it recently. had a good ball game over the weekend. And while he's hitting down the batting order, batting eighth, you know he's capable of plugging the gap somewhere, and he's got the Royals on the board here in inning number 5.
So just to finish the thought, that shot of the Hall of Fame there's that almost like bay-like window that juts out.
That's the broadcast window for people wanting to go in broadcast. To the right there, about where the stairway is.
Yep.
I'm not sure the stairway is going to hold it.
Now Betancourt goes into right field. Betemit will be held at third. And the Royals are making some noise. And now the ball gets away from Pierzynski. And Betancourt moves up to second base.
Ryan, you mentioned it earlier. You can remember ball games where Gavin Floyd has had it all going, and all of a sudden something big happens against him. Men get on base and start getting away from him, unraveling, and hopefully the Royals are close enough in this ball game to still come back.
Well, no runs, 2 hits in the first 4 innings, and now a run, 3 hits in this inning alone. And if Scott Posednik can come through with a base hit, he could turn this into a 1-run game. And Posednik pulls it foul. That's an error, by the way, on Carlos Quinton, the throw from right field that allows Betancourt to go to second base. So a single and an error, 9. Betemit at third, Betancourt at second. Posednik has grounded out to short and flied to center field. Over the outside, not where Pierzynski wanted it, but still a strike.
Posednik has scored 4 runs on the homestand so far. He hadn't driven in any. Be a good time to change that.
Pierzynski blocks the curveball. That keeps Betemit at third base. And it's 1-2. Callaspo opened the inning with a single, went to second on a wild pitch. Betemit's double got him home. And now Betancourt follows with a single and goes down to second base on the throwing error by Quinton. And Posednik got a curveball up and fouled it away.
We've seen him turn on some balls like that here so far this year. Ball that he hit with power to right field. Got a feeling he might just have missed his pitch. Royals would love to have something else right here, and a sacrifice fly could do that.
Grounded up the middle into center field. Here comes Betancourt around third. It is a 1-run game.
Good plate coverage right here. They're trying to go down and away with a breaking ball. Might have even been off the plate, but suddenly went out and got it. Didn't hit it all that hard. It hit it hard enough to get it through the middle and into center field. Ramirez with the dive and the effort. Betemit in from third. Betancourt from second. And it's 4-3 ball game now.
So we'll see if Gavin Floyd can pull it together, but we have seen this before. The Royals had 2 base runners in 4 innings, and neither one of those 2 reached second base. In this inning alone, the Royals have 4 base runners and 3 runs home. And so the error on the throw home from Quinton turns into a run as Betancourt scores from second base. Outside ball 1 to Jason Kendall. Nothing out of 2 with a ground out and a fly out.
And nothing going in that White Sox bullpen, so this is Floyd's ball game to go for a while. Kendall already has 5 RBIs on the homestand.
Posednik takes off and Kendall pulls it to third. Viciedo will throw him out, but the tying run is in scoring position with 2 down. And that'll bring up David DeJesus. David singled in the first inning, flied out in the fourth. In his last 4 starts, Gavin Floyd's ERA was 0.93. And the league was hitting 155 against him. And he was off and running again tonight in the first 4 innings, but now the Royals have made it a game again. And they could tie it with a base hit from DeJesus. Hard slider is in for a strike.
And Ryan's also gone 6 or more innings. 11 of his last 12 outings, so able to take the ball game a little bit later than where he is right now. That's probably why they don't have anybody warming up behind him.
Breathing heavy as the Royals have made him work. 23 pitches in this 5th inning. And thinking that perhaps Presednik might take off for third.
It's the first inning tonight. The Royals have even gotten a man on in scoring position. Haven't found the middle of the field until here in the 5th.
David going for it all. No balls and 2 strikes. Eddie Rodriguez is trying to help out Scott Presednik with his lead, but Alexi Ramirez is playing right behind him. So Presednik not able to get a big lead off of second base. And of course, with 2 outs, the infield always plays deep, trying to knock down any ground ball and keep it on the infield.
Looking at their defensive alignment, they might try to crowd David again, trying to force him to pull the ball. His base hit went up the middle. His fly ball went to left field. I'd say, hey, this is 3rd time through. Let's make him pull it and pull the defense over that way. Beckham at second base is starting a couple field out on that outfield grounds, as you had mentioned, playing deep.
No sign from Pierzynski. He just went out to talk about the next pitch with Floyd. And he let that fastball out over the plate. And a gesture from Pierzynski towards Floyd after it's fouled away. They're still not quite on the same page.
This is a big series for the White Sox coming here to Kansas City. They know Detroit is in Minnesota. They're the 2 teams in front of them. Probably going to split. If they can come here and have a good week, they might be in first place by the time they leave town.
Overthrew that fastball, 1-2.
Although GC Joel Zamaya went down with an injury last night. How bad was that?
He has been through shoulder injuries, finger injuries, and apparently it wasn't a blown out elbow, it was a broken elbow. Floyd just shaking everything off. Now he has the pitch that he wants. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's interesting, all the shake-offs here in this inning by Gavin Floyd. Mark Bulley never shakes off A.J. Pierzynski.
This time Floyd agrees with Pierzynski's suggestion. And DeJesus spoils it. So this is coming up on a 30-pitch inning for Gavin Floyd, who was just sailing along in the first 4 innings and just 47 pitches. So a little over 10 pitches per inning. The Royals have scored 3. Pasednik just drove in 2 with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And now he's the tying run for David DeJesus. Timeout had been called. He appears to be a pitcher right now who is thinking too much. Even when he comes set with the sign, he is coming set and holding set, almost as if he is still processing. Is this the pitch I want to throw? How do I want to throw it? And now Pierzynski wants to go out and talk with him again.
Say, hey, that's about enough of this. I mean, in a way, he comes in a confident guy because he knows he has been throwing well over the last month and a half. But on the other hand, how confident is he in his ability to win? He has 4 runs for the first time in a long time as far as the run support. He didn't want to let this get away.
That's Joey Cora, the bench coach, who has taken over as manager after Ozzie Guillen was ejected. Ejected by home plate umpire Tim Timmons for arguing balls and strikes. And Pierzynski, right before that pitch was thrown, he put the palm of his glove in the dirt saying, "Get this ball down." And Floyd missed badly.
And he didn't even hang out a sign. They talked about it when they were at the mound. He just shook his head and said, "Yeah, this is what we're going to do," before he tapped his glove in the dirt.
Grounded up the middle, but we showed you Ramirez was playing behind Pasednik, so DeJesus grounds out. 30 pitches for Floyd and 3 runs allowed. The Royals are back in the game. Savory breakfast items at Panera Bread. Gorgeous night in Kansas City and a nice sunset to go with it. The Royals are down by 1 into the top of the 6th inning after falling behind 4-0. And Gavin Floyd grinding his way through a 3-run Royals 5th inning with 30 pitches. So the Royals trying to get Brian Bannister off the hook. He allowed all 4 runs in 4 innings, also struck out 4. A lot of soft hits for the White Sox tonight, but forced him to throw 90 pitches. Kanekoa Teixeira allowed a couple of singles to begin the 5th inning, but the big play in that top of the 5th was Mark Kotsay grounding into a double play. Pierzynski grounded out, and Teixeira and the Royals were out of it. And another base hit for Viciedo, his second of the game. Joel Goldberg has done exhaustive research. Joel, what have you come up with?
I had it a while ago, but you know, that Royals rally, probably a little bit more important. All right, split 16 career at-bats against you. What would you guess? Maybe a hit total?
Well, 500 probably.
No, he was under 500, only really? 438, 7 for 16. So there you go.
How many home runs?
4. So there was 4 home runs and a double and 6 RBIs, and the slugging percentage was over 1,000. But other than that, it was pretty good.
It was a pretty good night, huh? See, now I've always admitted that. And you guys have had some fun, so it's okay.
Your good friend and longtime partner, Bob Davis, taught me that one way to get you to back off, maybe if you're coming on too strong, is just mention the 2 magic words, Dick Allen.
Is in the house.
Yeah. Right, BD? BD will be asking me when this half inning is over. Now, what did you show me for? What were you guys talking about?
He's into this ballgame. You see him on the edge of his seat.
Beckham pops up. Betancourt brings it down. So Beckham is out for the first time. He's had a terrible time in his career against the Royals, but not tonight. 2 hits, a run driven in and a run scored, and 1 on 1 out in the 6th. The fan favorite is back. It's Buck Night coming up on Friday, July the 16th. That's the Royals and the A's. Specials include hot dogs, small Pepsi products, peanuts, and Twinkies for just $1. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. So Juan Pierre with a runner at first, 1 out. Singled in the first inning, drove in a run with a ground out in the second. Viciedo takes off. That's a busted hit and run, but Kendall couldn't get a grip. So a swing and a miss, but Viciedo ends up at second base nonetheless.
Pierre did a really nice job covering home plate there. Even though this ball is well out of the zone, Kendall went out and got it. Pierre still leaning out over the plate, really got in his way and slowed him down. Got to think had an effect on that changeover from glove to throwing hand.
That is the first major league stolen base for Diane Viciedo. 0-2 on Juan Pierre. Still no balls, 2 strikes. The White Sox had an outstanding year against the National League. They went 15-3, but Split and I talked about this last night. They have had a bad year against their own division. Just 12-16 against the American League Central. The Royals are at 500 against the division. Deep short, past Betancourt. Viciedo will not advance. How often do you see that? So he had to make sure that Betancourt was going to make the play, and when it got by him, Posednik was right on it.
Ryan, he really gets a pretty good read on this ball. I mean, it's off the end of the bat, and it didn't look like it was going to be able to get through the infield. So it wasn't so much, the ball getting through his shortstop might be able to run that down, and he committed to going back to second base before the ball got to Betancourt. So he made his call maybe a little bit too early. A mistake here at this level. I think when you're on the scoring position, you're going to make an error. I think you want to do it on the side of caution and stay right there. Don't want to be making that out.
Jam badly, and Billy Butler makes the play. They called the infield fly rule at the very last moment. So Teixeira makes a great pitch for the second out. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Paul Splittorff and Joel Goldberg with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis, and the rest of our Fox Sports Kansas City crew enjoying this mild night in Kansas City after a burning hot weekend against the Cardinals. 2-0 on Alex Rios.
This last breaking ball looks pretty good right here. See if he got played. No, it's a backup fastball. Yeah, had a little bit of the edge.
Fox Tracks and Tim Timmons have not been in harmony tonight. 2-1 on Rios. A walk in the first inning. He is 0 for 2. Dusty Hughes just starting to warm up. A few hitters down the road for the White Sox. Mark Kotze and AJ Pierzynski, left-hand batters. If we get that far, there's a good pitch across the knees. And it's 2-2 on Rios. Viciedo at second base, Pierre at first. Well, that goes on the list, and it ends the inning.
Do you think?
Four to 3 White Sox as we revisit You Call It. What to do with interleague games. 35% now want to add more games. 34% want to keep it the same. Keep voting. Well, the White Sox had a couple of hits against Teixeira in the 6th inning. They do not score. But it was a long enough inning for Gavin Floyd to catch his breath and maybe cool down after a long bottom of the 5th inning where the Royals scored 3 after Floyd had a 4-0 lead, and then he and AJ Pierzynski weren't seeing eye to eye later in the inning on pitches to try and put away David DeJesus. So perhaps they got that settled as Billy Butler lines into an out in center field. So tough hitting luck for him. Billy is 1 for 3.
One of the things that might help Gavin Floyd in this inning is the White Sox did take their time coming to the plate that last half inning to give him a little bit longer breather. Had a couple of base hits, so it took a while to get through that inning. That would have been a good one for Teixeira to have a 1-2-3 and get Floyd right back out there. Billy gets pretty good leverage on that ball right there. Fastball down and out over the plate, but unfortunately hit the deep part of the park.
And now this is deep to right field, but Quinton a couple of steps in front of the track. So Jose Guillen is 0 for 3. That's the second hard hit ball to the outfield for him. And Gavin Floyd has a chance to have a quick bottom of the 6th inning. He'll face Alberto Callaspo, and he started the 3-run 5th with a single. And Floyd threw a wild pitch. Callaspo scored on Betemeat's double. Betemeat scored on Betancourt's single. Betancourt to second on a throwing error by Quinton. And then Scott Posednik with 2 outs and 2 strikes got the biggest hit of the inning. A 2-run single to make it a 1-run game. That is a swing, according to third base umpire Jeff Nelson. No balls, 2 strikes. One and 2. Gavin Floyd is 1-7 against the Royals.
His last win was better than 5 weeks ago. It's not that he hasn't been throwing well.
Did you see Pierzynski's reaction after Floyd shook off that sign? He just went to his knees like, not this again. Curveball is hit hard to second, and Beckham is on it, and the Royals are down fast in the bottom of the 6th inning. Four innings, gives up 4 runs. Ozzie Guillen was kicked out of the game in the 3rd inning by home plate umpire Tim Timmons. And Wilson Betemeat in the lineup because of his extra base hit power. He comes through again with a double and an RBI in the Royals' 3-run 5th. And Betemeat, now of his 11 hits, 4 are for extra bases. And after 2 scoreless innings from Kanekoa Teixeira, Kyle Farnsworth takes over in the 7th inning in the Chevy call to the bullpen.
Royals' 3rd pitcher of the night. Did not work here last night, but won an inning Saturday afternoon against St. Louis. 2 more innings on Sunday afternoon. Comes on for the 26th time this year. He's been solid out of the bullpen. Like everybody in the pen, off to a slow start in April, but May was good, and June's been even better. Yeah, the Royals bullpen did exactly the same thing last year. Remember the first 5 weeks of the year? They were nails. I mean, nobody got anything against them. They did a 180 and went the other way. Well, this year, didn't get anybody out early. Did the 180 again. Now they've been solid. Kind of unusual to have back-to-back years where you don't get the consistency, but you like it a lot better the way it is now.
And the most popular reason for that is that the Royals relievers all know their role. Something solidified by Ned Yost when he took over, coming up on a month and a half ago.
Konerko almost went. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bullpen coach Steve Foster has an interesting theory on that. He calls it emotion management. That's what makes a successful relief pitcher. Line shot caught by Betancourt at shortstop. And you know, we talk so often about hitters, Split, that when they go up against a pitcher, they can start eliminating pitches. So let's say a guy throws 4 pitches. Well, you know his curveball and his changeup aren't working, so you can eliminate those. Well, Steve Foster is saying that a relief pitcher, they really have very little preparation for the game. They don't know when they're coming in. They don't know who they're going to face. But if they know at least about what inning they're going to come in, they can start eliminating innings, and that's one way for them to prepare. Emotion management.
I think the roles are very important, but it was impossible for anybody to have a role early on because they kept pushing different buttons to try to find somebody who could pitch the 8th inning, try to pitch the 7th, try to pitch the 6th. I mean, somebody to do something. There weren't any right answers on a consistent basis. I think that sideline throwing program that they're on right now has to be a big part of that. I mean, what came first, the sideline throwing program or the roles? You know, I think the program, I mean, somebody having, knowing how they're going to be used and having a specific role in the bullpen, that's nice, but I think that throwing program is a big part of it.
Those 2 guys on each side of that steel beam. Robinson Tejeda, slow start. He's picked it up. And then Blake Wood comes up from the minor leagues, having never pitched in the big leagues before, and the Royals give him the 8th inning. And not only did he accept the role, but he has pitched very well in that role. And that's got to wake up the veterans, that some guy who's never been here before can handle that role. Right?
There's also a guy they didn't want to bring up. They wanted Blake Wood to stay in Omaha 3 to 4 months before they brought him to the big leagues. And when they brought him up, they had their fingers crossed hoping that he would be ready. But they were about that desperate at the time.
KCA with 2 doubles and a run scored. He also grounded into a double play in the 5th inning against Teixeira, and that was a big play. The Royals with Teixeira on the mound. The White Sox had 2 on and nobody out. KCA grounded into the double play, and then in the next half inning, the Royals scored 3 to make it a 1-run game. Still 1-2. Sprint bringing you the first wireless 4G network from a national carrier. It's more than just a wireless network. It's a wireless revolution. Visit sprint.com/4G to learn more. Two and two. Three balls and 2 strikes. Mark Kotsay, 14 years ago, was the Marlins' first-round draft pick out of Cal State Fullerton. And this year, the Royals got their first-round draft pick out of Cal State Fullerton. Shortstop Christian Colon, who joined us in the booth during the Cardinals series. As third base coach Jeff Cox, still 2-2.
And is now in Wilmington. Have we talked to a player yet out of the minor league system who did not like Wilmington? They all love playing there, don't they?
And they win.
Yeah.
They get great crowds.
Say the host families are unbelievable.
Center field routine for David DeJesus, and another scoreless inning from the Royals bullpen. Seattle beats New York. Cliff Lee wins his 7th. It was Cleveland over Toronto. Fausto Carmona wins his 7th. Oakland in front of Baltimore. Boston in front of Tampa Bay. Boston now in 2nd place. They passed Tampa Bay in the East. Minnesota trying to get back in front of Detroit. Denard Span has 3 triples. And Texas is in front of the Angels. This is only the 3rd game between the Rangers and the Angels tonight out in Anaheim in the same division. So including tonight, they still have 16 games against each other, and we're coming up on the midway point. Mike Aviles is 1 for 3. So down by 1. The Royals have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 7th.
You know, the same part of the batting order where they started that rally back in inning number 5. There's Caswell that opens with a base hit to left. Now they hit it right behind him. Mike Aviles, solid base hit to right field. His first knock of the game.
And now Wilson Betemit, the extra base hit machine. And he went around. Jeff Nelson pumping the right fist. Betemit turns around in protest and now shakes his head at Jeff Nelson. Betemit grounded out hard to Konerko at first in the 3rd inning and then doubled with an RBI and came around to score in the Royals' 3-run 5th inning. He's had 2 good swings against Gavin Floyd. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals want to get a long look at Wilson Betemit and see if he is more than just a reserve player. Switch hitter. Nice stroke from both sides of the plate.
See back on the second baseman trying to cover up that hole on the right side of the infield with Konerko holding the base runner. Sometimes the left-handed hitters, they'd love to come up there with a man on first base. If you're a guy who can pull the ball, I think it adds a lot of points to your batting average. You can get out in front and pull one on the right side. You really don't have to hit it all that hard to get it through that hole. Beckham trying to take it away.
That's in for a strike, 1 and 2. Tomorrow it's Zach Greinke against Jake Peavy. Great pitching matchup at 7:10. Ivy Royals Live begins at 6:30. Then the Royals hit the road for 9 games leading up to the All-Star break. Look out. Ooh. Rusty Kuntz doesn't even want to turn around and look. Hold foul again. Look out. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. It appears that the fan was hit by that line drive, but maybe hit around the shoulder. And that's going to hurt. Even if it's a broken collarbone, that's better than the other alternative. And there is absolutely no time to react at all on a line drive like that. Betemit able to hold his swing, and the count goes to 2-2. Now you could put Omar Vizquel over there with a glove on, and I don't know if he makes a play.
And you can say watch the ball game all you want, but if you watch it with a glove, you're not going to be able to make that play. You're in a crowd and no place to hide. But they're staying inside on Betemit, aren't they?
Aviles runs. Betemit strikes out, and the throw is high. Brzezinski upset that he didn't get the double play. Aviles steals his 2nd. So the tying run in scoring position with 1 away. And now Yuniesky Betancourt, he singled and scored in the Royals' 3-run 5th inning. And now Pierzynski goes out to have a word with Gavin Floyd, and this might accomplish a couple of things. Figure out what they want to do with Betancourt. And it also gives the bullpen some time to catch up. Matt Thornton warming up.
He's one of their top lefties out of the bullpen, and the left-handed hitter is due up next. So Gavin Floyd might be down to his last man.
Now Bobby Jenks, the White Sox closer, went on the bereavement list because of health issues in the family, and he is not eligible to return until Friday. Grounded to third. Viciendo will throw out Betancourt, and Aviles holds at second base. And when you go on the bereavement list, you have to be out for a minimum of 3 games. So it appeared that Thornton was going to be the closer. But Joey Cora, who is acting as manager with Ozzie Guillen ejected, he's going to point down there and bring in Matt Thornton with Pasednik coming up and 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Thornton comes on for the 32nd time this year. That leads his ball club in appearances made. Has been dominant. That 191 batting average again. How about the strikeout to walk ratio? Better than 4-1. And Aviles on at second base with 2 outs for Pasednik.
And thanks to Scott Pasednik's 2-out base hit in the 5th inning, this is a 1-run game. 1 for 3 tonight. And facing Matt Thornton for just the 2nd time. Center field and right at Rios. So 1 pitch, and Thornton slams the door on the Royals in the 7th inning. with 3 in the bottom of the 5th. And 2 innings to go. Kyle Farnsworth retired the side in order in the 7th inning. He'll get the lower third of the order in the 8th, beginning with A.J. Pierzynski. White Sox also had a 3-run inning. That was in the 2nd, and Pierzynski singled, drove in a run and scored. And White Sox added a 4th run in the 4th. All those runs charged to Brian Bannister. Kanekoa Teixeira with 2 scoreless innings. Farnsworth 1. He doesn't field the ground ball, but he receives the throw from Billy Butler. And Pierzynski is the first out.
Guys handle this one perfectly. Pitcher, get everything you can going to your left. If you can't get to it, go directly to the bag. First baseman come in, make the play, give up the ball as quick as you can. That throw comes from behind Farnsworth right there. That way you get an opportunity to make a play on the ball and find the corner of the bag. That's the most difficult play between pitcher and first baseman right there.
That's a nice little scoop by Billy Butler.
Yeah. Getting smoother all the time at first base.
Kendall out to talk to Farnsworth, who may have landed awkwardly on his ankle as he touched the bag, and he was back flexing that behind the plate, or behind the pitcher's mound, before getting ready for Viciendo.
I remember last year was a play very similar to that, I believe, down in Houston, where he blew out a groin, and he was out for the better part of 2 months. Again, just breaking off the mound to his left, headed to first base, and down he went.
And Farnsworth kind of looking awkward after that first pitch to Diane Viciendo. Caught by Butler. Oh man, look at those hops over there at first base.
That put a smile on his face, be able to flag that one down. Because this one is headed for the right field corner. And many bases. Double, possible triple if Butler doesn't make that play.
So Farnsworth has retired 5 in a row. Gordon Beckham working on a 2-hit game. Drove in a run in the 2nd inning, scored a run in the 4th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Skipping around off the outstretched hands on the right field side. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Beckham. First round pick of the White Sox in 08 out of the University of Georgia, and the very next year in the big leagues. Thought about going after the slider, and it's 2-2. Low, at least according to the home plate umpire Tim Timmons.
There's been any consistency with the balls and strikes tonight. It's been at the knees on balls on the plate. Let's look at this one. Yep.
And low again, and that's a walk. Just showed you the numbers for Beckham a year ago, and that has to be somewhat encouraging for him because he has gotten off to a slow start this year. And last year he got off to a slow start. The batting average very similar. Home run, RBIs low. But when the season was finished, he hit .270 for the White Sox.
Chicago was more concerned about his defense this past offseason than they were his bat. I think they called him to Arizona to have a week drills at second base because that was a position change for him. So they spent a little extra time worried about his glove, not so much with his bat.
Boy, Beckham got a huge jump, and Kendall still threw him out. And he can't believe it. He got a running lead against Farnsworth, but Kendall guns him down.
Better meet as Wilson does it again. The bullpen continues to hold its own. Highlights, interviews, Fox Hot Watch results, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live, and hopefully a Royals player of the game. We'll see if they can get things going here. Ryan and Split, back to you.
All right, thank you, Joel. Omar Vizquel is now at third base for the White Sox. And Matt Thornton stays on for the bottom of the 8th inning in relief of starter Gavin Floyd. Thornton came on and threw one pitch and got Scott Posednik to fly to center field with a runner at second base. And Kendall lines it into left field. So Kendall is 1 for 4, and he saves his one hit, leading off the bottom of the 8th inning.
Thornton, a hard throwing left-hander, so you can kind of sit fastball on him and try to get out in front, see if you can hit it hard somewhere. So Kendall with the leadoff base hit. He moves the ball well enough on the bases. You could do something with him if you wanted. Send him in motion, maybe give him a little coverage with a hit and run. Don't think you want him going straight field. They haven't done that yet this year. But David handles the bat well. See if you can get one of those infielders to move a little bit.
Drag bunt. Canerco goes down to second base, and Ramirez kept his foot on the bag. Don't say this very often, but it was a well-hit drag bunt.
I'm sure David thinking right there, if I just get the ball on the ground, they won't have a play. But remember, Canerco was the third baseman when he first came to the big leagues, so he has a good throwing arm. Not all first basemen throw well, but he does. Looked at second base, maybe surprised that he had a play.
So 1-on-1 out, and now Billy Butler singled in the 4th inning and then lined to center in the 6th. And just made a great defensive play in the top of the 8th inning on a line drive from Viciendo. He jumped so high, I wonder if he was ever going to come down. In the air to center field, Rios is there. De Jesus goes halfway, and there are 2 outs.
there's a team that could cover the absence of a closer, it would probably be the Chicago White Sox. I don't think anybody doubts that Thornton has the potential to be that guy. J.J. Putz has been a closer in the past. He's a setup man. So they have some people that are capable for that late inning.
Jose Guillen is 0 for 3 tonight. He is 0 for 5 against Matt Thornton. .96 miles an hour, in for a strike.
Thing about Thornton, you can sit hard stuff. He's got the fastball and the hard slider. He doesn't change speed very often.
Jose was looking for a pitch up. That might have been too high, and it's 0-2.
Sometimes you sit fastball, and when you get it, your eyes light up and say, all right, I'm on top of it. Of course, he throws hard enough. If it's up in the zone, it's really tough to stay on top.
Broke his bat, and it's still no balls, 2 strikes. J.J. Putz is warming up in the White Sox bullpen. So the assumption, at least by the numbers, was that Matt Thornton was going to fill in at closer with Bobby Jenks on the bereavement list. But J.J. Putz has an even better ERA at 1.95, and he has quite a bit of experience after being the closer for the Seattle Mariners. Still 0-2 on Guillen.
Well, Ryan, now they have 3 different guys that have saves this year, and part of that is because Bobby Jenks was bothered by a calf injury to where he wasn't available all the time, so they had to kind of work around that. Now, he never went on the disabled list, but Thornton was available for saves. He has 3 so far, and also Putz, he has 1. So both those guys have been used to save ball games already this year. Now, Jenks is healthy. In fact, last week he worked 4 straight days, so not available because of the bereavement list, but is healthy. It might be something that Ozzie Guillen might want to go matchups. How many left-handed hitters there for Thornton?
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Thornton before tonight had 31 appearances and 31 2/3 innings. So he's about an inning an appearance. Right now he has pitched an inning going back to the final out of the 7th. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Guillen. Past Guillen, you have Alberto Callaspo, who's a switch hitter. So the White Sox will make a decision. Do they want him to bat right-handed against Thornton or left-handed against Putz? DeJesus hardly off the bag over at first. And he began with a base hit from Jason Kendall, and then David DeJesus tried to drag bunt, but he bunted it very hard to Paul Konerko, who threw down to second base for the force on Kendall, and then Butler flied to center. Guillen swings, grounds it past Vizquel and into left field. And now we'll see what the White Sox will do with Alberto Callaspo coming up.
Ryan, that is typical late inning defense of a close ball game. The White Sox outfield was deep. They wanted to keep every ball possible in front of them to keep any kind of extra base play out of the possibility. And Vizquel guarding the line at third base, trying to take away the double, made more room to his left.
So the White Sox want Callaspo to bat left-handed against J.J. Putz.
rather impressive batting average against of just 172. Chicago had a call to make on how do they want Castro to hit, whether it be left-handed or right-handed. Maybe playing against the numbers a little bit. Castro's batting average a little bit higher from this side of the plate.
And almost all of his power from this side of the plate. Alberto has gone 34 games without a home run. And misses outside with ball one. Alberto singled and scored in the Royals' 3-run fifth inning. He has DeJesus at second base, Guillen at first. Over the inside corner, Castro pulling away, and it's 1-1.
Set up on the outside corner, ball comes in the inside, but the umpire is normally set up in the inside part of the plate, so he gives him a good look. If you're a Royals fan, one thing you'd be pretty sure of is Castro is a good contact hitter. Does not strike out very much. So figure this ball is going to be put in play.
2 balls and 1 strike. So this is not an unfamiliar role for J.J. Putz, trying to close out the game. With the Mariners in 2006, he had 36 saves, and then in 07 he had 40 saves. Was on the disabled list in 08. He saved 15 and had surgery on his elbow last year and only appeared in 29 games for the Mets. Into the seats off the left field line, 2 balls, 2 strikes. At one point, J.J. Putz saved 31 in a row. Royals with 3 runs, 9 hits against the White Sox tonight. Three and 2, and now the added advantage with the runners going before the next pitch. Mike Aviles would be next.
And they shaded the opposite way in the outfield for Castro. That's an indication they're probably going to stay away when they need to get an out. You need to pitch to your defense. The open gap is right center field.
Runners go, and that one didn't get the inside part this time, so the bases are loaded with 2 down. Tried to back up that pitch again on Castro, but it stayed inside.
AJ Przinsky sitting on the outer part of the plate, so you got to think they missed badly.
So that's a big walk, because now a base hit doesn't just tie the game. It could put the Royals in front. It would have to be a well-placed base hit. Mike Aviles is 1 for 3, singled in the 7th inning. He has only seen J.J. Putz once, and he is 0 for 1. Fastball at 99 miles an hour.
And Ryan, if you think of throwing that runner from second base, the strongest arm they have in their outfield is in center field with Ellis Rios. He throws well above average. Pierre in left is well below average. Pointing in right, no better than average, but is accurate.
There's the splitter. Pierzynski can't find it, but the important thing is that he blocked it.
Which also throws a slider in the fastball, but that's a confident catcher to call that pitch. As soon as you call for it, you have to anticipate it's going to be a bad one and be ready to pounce on it.
I mentioned it has to be a well-placed base hit because you have Jose Guillen at second base. So it is not automatic that he would score on a base hit to the outfield. And line caught by Vizquel on a short hop, and he casually flips it over to second base. And in doing so, throws a wet blanket on the Royals.
Big City tonight for the Royals that have played a pair and said made this a one-run ball game. The Royals have been playing catch-up all night. They were down 3-0 early.
Blake Wood takes over in the top of the ninth with the top of the order coming up. And the Royals bullpen has turned in 4 more scoreless innings. Brian Bannister went 4, gave up 4 runs. Kanekoa Teixeira with 2 scoreless innings. Kyle Farnsworth with 2 scoreless innings. So in their last 17 games, the Royals bullpen has allowed 8 earned runs in 52 2/3 innings.
This is one of those nights where the pen is going to throw more innings than the starter is. Don't want to have that happen all that often.
3-0 on Juan Pierre. And that would be a huge distraction to have him at first base to begin the 9th inning. And that pitch is outside, and he is down to first on a 4-pitch walk. Blake Wood, not sure if he disagrees with the call or he's just mad at himself. Either way, you got 29 stolen bases over at first with nobody out.
Well, the fact that Kendall is on his way to the mound to talk to the pitcher tells you, well, we got to find home plate right here, and I don't want my young guy getting upset.
Pierre was caught stealing by Kendall in the first inning. So 29 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 8 times.
Ramirez showing bunt at the plate. Anytime a guy shows you bunt that early, you're always a little bit hesitant.
He has 2 sacrifice bunts so far this year. And it looks like he wants to pull the bat back, and he does. And the pitch is high and inside. First time the White Sox get a look at Blake Wood. So Juan Pierre doesn't know about his move. Alexi Ramirez hasn't faced him before. Blake Wood called up to the Royals right after the Royals took 2 out of 3 from the White Sox in the middle of May, right after Ned Yost replaced Trey Hillman. Royals went on the road to Baltimore, and that's when Blake Wood joined KC. One ball, one strike.
Now you get an idea what they want to do. Clearly they wanted Wood to have to throw a strike before they did anything at all, just in case they can get another man on base. Now that he's in the zone, find out what they really have on their mind. Pass, but to come way in on the grass at third base with the runner on first.
Gets the bunt down. Kendall thought about second base. Don't know if he had the grip that he wanted. So he gets Ramirez at first, and now Pierre is at second base with one out.
If you get that bunt down, the first thing you have to do is get it in fair territory, but get it away from the catcher. Kendall jumped on this in a hurry, and he was already looking at Pierre to see if he had something going at second. So even before he got his hand on the ball, he knew that he had a play right there. He wanted to give it a look, and he had to make that call. Pierre has that real good speed. You know, at this point, you want to make sure you get at least one out.
And now Alex Rios, 0 for 3 with a walk back in the first inning. And now they're going to bring in the entire infield, minus Billy Butler, and not only talk about how they're going to pitch to Rios, but perhaps if they're going to pitch to him at all. Strike one with a fastball at 97. Blake Wood is the Royals' 8th inning setup man for Joakim Soria, but his last 3 appearances have come in the 9th inning. In games where either the Royals have been behind, like they are tonight, or ahead, way ahead, like they were on Sunday, beating the Cardinals 10-3. Up the middle, Aviles goes to the left side of second base. Rios is out, and now Pierre is at third base with 2 away.
They're playing Rios as a pull hitter, so Betancourt, the shortstop, was a couple steps to his right, and Aviles a little bit closer to second base. That's why he's able to get on that ball in a big hurry.
And it'll be Paul Konerko with his 20 home runs, 56 RBIs, and his 4 strikeouts in this series. 2 against Anthony LaRue last night, 1 against Victor Marte, and Bannister froze him with a curveball tonight. He has also walked and singled tonight, and he misses the slider down and away. Well, this is where Konerko is dangerous, and we told you earlier, of his 20 home runs, 10 have come in the 8th inning or later. Very late on the fastball.
He's got to be caught in between right now. He got fooled on the breaking ball on the first pitch. Now behind the fastball. He has long been known as a guy who can adjust on the fly. But he's in some trouble now.
Wouldn't go for it, and the count is 1-2.
Generally what you try to do if you're trying to get a strikeout, once you get ahead 0-2, the book on most guys is to chase a high fastball, or maybe he goes for the low breaking ball. We laid off the high fastball. My guess is here they come back with the breaking ball, probably off the plate, down and away. Listen, you got 2 strikes. It's a lot easier to guess from up here than it is in that batter's box.
Fouled away.
If they go back with another fastball, there'll be 4 consecutive fastballs after the breaking ball.
Paul Konerko is hitting .296 with 20 home runs, 56 RBIs. But against the Royals this year, he is 2 out of 29. 2 out of 30. There's that slider down and away. So the Royals down by 1 to the bottom of the 9th. And Wilson Betemit, the extra base hit machine, will lead off. This is his home run on Sunday against the Cardinals. Day 3 of his 4-city tour. He's going to go over to St. Louis and see the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks tomorrow.
He's already seen a lot of I-94. Now, I-35 to get down here. It'll be on I-70 tomorrow.
Wilson Betemit, Yuniesky Betancourt, and Scott Posednik against J.J. Putz. He recorded the final out at the bottom of the 8th inning. He faced 2, walking Cayaspo and getting Mike Aviles, thanks to a great play at third base by Omar Vizquel. The Royals had the bases loaded with 2 down. And Aviles hit a rocket to the left side, and Vizquel casually picked it on a short hop and went down to second base for the force. There's the J.J. Putz splitter, and the count is 1-1. Betemit has faced Putz once and struck out. Two balls, 1 strike. If you weren't with us earlier, Bobby Jenks, the White Sox closer, is away from the team and on the bereavement list because of a medical issue in the family. And when you go on that list, you have to be away for at least 3 days. So Jenks will not appear in this series. And the former Mariners closer, J.J. Putz, is filling in. And that's into left center field and down for a base hit. Betemit taking a wide turn, but he'll hold with a single and his second hit of the game.
Nothing like getting your leadoff man on base. Now the Royals will pinch run. Betemit out of the game. Bloomquist in. Fastball after the splitter. Betemit behind it just a little bit, but able to get it down out in left center field. And all of a sudden the heat is on the White Sox. Joaquin Soria had a tough 9th inning here last night. Was able to bail it out. See how the Royals decide to play it. Betancourt at the plate. Lundqvist on first.
Vizquel is in at third, expecting a bunt. And Betancourt squares and misses, facing his former Seattle teammate. Uni has 2 sacrifice bunts on the year. He missed a suicide squeeze. Well, actually didn't even attempt at a suicide squeeze in the game last night on a pitch that was up and away. Gets away from Pierzynski, but not far enough for Bloomquist to move up to second base.
The angle at which that ball got behind Pierzynski, Bloomquist didn't get a look at it anyhow. No way that he would be able to tell how far it did roll behind the White Sox catcher. That ball might have hit the umpire. I'm not sure Pierzynski knocked it down. It might have been the home plate umpire.
Now Bloomquist runs, Betancourt swings, and he lifts it to right field. So the Royals trying a hit and run. The objective of the hitter is to put the ball on the ground. So Bloomquist back to first, and 1 away. The base hit for Betemit leading off the inning gives the Royals double-digit hits again. They have 10, and now over their last 20 games, they've done better than 10 hits per game. They have 208 hits over their last 20 games. And the Royals, with 12 hits last night, got themselves back on top in the American League with a team batting average of .283, tied with the Rangers.
One thing that has helped Chicago tonight, just 1 walk all evening long. And only 1 extra base hit for the Royals. That was a Betemit double that came in the 5th.
Sednick with the biggest hit for the Royals tonight. Down 1 ball, 2 strikes, and with 2 outs in the 5th inning, runners at second and third in a 4-1 game. Sednick singled, driving in 2, making it 4-3, and that's where we stand now in the bottom of the 9th. Tying run at first with 1 out. Willie Bloomquist with 4 stolen bases, and he's been caught twice. And he is running again. It's a strike. The throw to second is right on the money.
Jay Pierzynski, good throw right there. Good fastball to handle. Outer part of the plate. He's already come out behind that left-handed hitter with a delivery down and away from Pierzynski. That was a no doubt caught stealing. Throw right on the corner of the bag.
And you can understand the thinking there. You have a singles hitter at the plate. You've got another singles hitter on deck. So it was going to take a few hits to get him around, unless he's in scoring position, and then it's 1 hit to get him around.
Rose really tried everything to get him on in scoring position. Get the leadoff base hit, you show bunt, don't get it down, try hit and run, try steal.
Got him looking to win the ball game. So the White Sox even the series in 1 game apiece. They get 3 in the top of the 2nd inning, and they don't look back and win game 2, 4-3. We'll be right back.